For this Microsoft Mesh demonstration, Jesus is gonna invite me to a specific virtual space.
We are here using Mesh. Mesh is a new software by Microsoft, and they let us interact in an environment. So each one of us are in a different part in the city, but you're using the same 3D environment here. And as Jesus just added, we can have like pictures, and we are using these rooms. This room was created by him, and he could invite me, and we can invite a different team of people to interact in the same space.
So there's a little bit to say about, the customability of your person. So I can go over here and change my avatar, what I look like a little bit, just to more represent what I actually look like to other people. Usually I wear a hat, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that back on. And he should be able to see any of the changes that I made at that point. So
Great, yeah, you're updated.
great. There's another little thing about the avatar is to more simulate in-person, type of being. Is that he can see my mouth move, and every time he speaks, he can see, or I could see his. There's another thing where the helmet has speakers all the way around the mic, so he can walk around me, or I can turn around and he can speak, and he should be able to see, or I should be able to hear where he's at in space, based off of where he's at for me.
Exactly. So for me right now, like as Jesus was coming close to me, the sound was like louder, and I also have like the detection for the ears. So this is really good to try to know where the person is. It does have an arrow, and the idea is we have one space that we can load things, so we can know where we are. So if I just add the object to my left or to my right, like Jesus maybe don't know exactly where to look. And I can move, so now we have a space to add files. As Jesus did, like we can just have like a picture in any space, a 3D in any space, but we have some object. They're gonna help us.
There's a little bit of manipulation here that you can do as a user, where I can kind of draw out my ideas if I don't have an object to represent it. And I'll kind of demonstrate it here with my back to Silas, so you can see, and we can see it sort of distorted in space. So something pretty simple here. My go-to is a cat, and I don't know why, but it's probably the only thing I remember how to draw. So from Silas's view, he could probably see that direct on, and it sort of looks like what I thought would be a cat. But you look over to the side and it wouldn't really represent anything. And then you can look at it from the opposite angle. So meaning that your drawings actually have a XYZ axis to them, and this lets you sort of draw around objects that you display on the table. And we'll show that here in a little bit.
And as he used ability to draw, we have also possibility to delete some parts. And we have, of course, different brushes, like different models that we can use, all in 3D. When you go to delete objects here, you're gonna see also that you can like remove all the ink, but gonna remove just my ink, so Jesus draw is still there, and clean all content, gonna remove everything that he had.
The system just glitched here. I had actually deleted some stuff, and as soon as you hit the delete all, it put it back on the field, and it must have been because it went off your update, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's still to show that everyone else has their own data that's being processed in the helmet, and it's updating in real time. So we're expecting to see some type of glitches like this. So it's not always dependent on who has the file, and we'll show this, that even if he leaves the room, once he puts up his personal files as objects, if he leaves the room, I can still have access to them because it's being saved onto my helmet.
Yes. So later we're gonna access some 3D files that we create, and if I leave the room and don't delete the room, later Jesus can come and invite other people and then continue working using the files that are there. you don't gonna download in his machine, but he can interact with these data and like the drawings and all the information that we can add.
So I'm going to go ahead and put up a sample here just to show a little bit of the hand tracking. So we have a globe here, and this is the point of the table, is that if lost it here, if I put my object at a distance where he can't access it, granted I think he's outside so he might have more range than I do, and I tell him, hey, can you manipulate that? You know, the most or the easiest situation here would be like, okay, put it by the table, because this is a point of origin for everybody, and I want to demonstrate that this is true no matter where that table is. So we're located in space, in this AR space, based on the table's perspective. So I can go ahead and unlock the table, and I'm going to grab it, and we see everything is moving here. And I'm going to go ahead and do this a little slowly, so just bear with me. Silas might not know exactly what I'm doing at the moment, but if you need to move, I can actually go downstairs and I'll place this. So his avatar moved. I'll find the floor here. Whoa. So I found the floor, and it actually sent the whole image back up here, which is pretty interesting.
You proved that we can continue the meeting if you move to a different space. Now going back to the objects.
So the object they are moving, I can go close by or a distance. And right now I can also move the scale if you use the two hands by distance or close. So some functions that we have. And as he was moving the table, he moved his table, mine is still in the place that I think is the best one.
And I can say, you know, we're using this tool as a way to sort of demonstrate stuff. I could say, hey, can you take a look at this spot here? I think this looks funny. So I could tell him to look. He might be busy doing other stuff, so we don't need to do that in the moment. There is a little bit of a downside to that, is that even if I annotate and somebody else wants to manipulate the object in the moment, they can grab it and move it around, and that annotation that I made does not stick. But nonetheless, in the moment, it does pan out pretty well.
If I hold to move and Jesus is using, I cannot is locked to the user who is moving. So I'm trying, you can see a line of force, but I cannot move as he's manipulating. So it's a good lock option. Yeah. And now I can. Great. So to have the final thing, we can delete the objects. And I go to 3D objects, and I'm gonna open the OneDrive. So here are some objects that we create. A real data from MRI machine for a patient. So the blood volume, I'm gonna add a table just so you can easily know where. And we have also skeleton. All these data are only on my computer, and I can access by cloud, and right now I share in this room. I'm leaving the room, he can continue using. If I'm delete the room, it's just for me. One thing to be added in the future is I cannot have all the 3 objects together and import them and remove the parts later. I have no button to turn off the bones, I have just the blood. So there are some functions to be added later, but all thing that we use for scale is here.
And even though he was the one to upload the images, I can go ahead and manipulate them the way that I would do any images here. It works all the same. And then kind of play with that.
There are limits for scale, but it's really good because you can also go close by, and this could be used like for planning surgery, and we can mark interesting parts. There is a limit for complexity, so they don't say about size, but you try to add a file with too much polygons, they're gonna say that the file is too complex. So that's why the structure that we have here has some limits. So all files here is less than 15 megabytes. So a limitation of space is something that they need to improve later. And of course, we have like some transparency and everything.
Just to point out real quick, because I don't think I'd ever noticed or like took real note of this. We just scaled up the rib cage pretty big. I mean, this is bigger than you'll ever see it in real life, right? But you can actually get inside of it, and you can see the opposite side of the sternum, which is not a normal thing that you could do, especially when it's still attached to a person. So this gives the user a lot of visuals that you would never ever see ever in any other situation.
We are not bound just to a screen. We are not bound to space, and we are not bound to scale. So we are showing a tool that have a lot of capability that we can use right now, and can and will be improved in the future. So thank you everyone. If you have any additional questions, you can contact us. We can record a new video or you can explain later.